I am really struggling right now. I watched the entire John Wick series and Nobody, and after that I thought, damn, I really wanna play a great FPS game now. So I hooked up my Oculus Rift to the computer, downloaded Half-Life Alyx and installed the Gunman Contracts mod. And it was really cool, shooting with my actual hands instead of a mouse and peeking around corners with my body. That was fun, for 10 minutes. Then the reality of VR hit me. Having that headset on your head is really uncomfortable. I start sweating around my eyes, I start getting a headache, and moving around in VR makes you wobbly, like you're on a boat. And it just really fucks with your head. So I tried looking for a new cool non-VR game on Steam. So let's take a look at the current games in the FPS space, hoping to find something I wanna stick to until X-Defiant or the finals comes out. And because I wanna make a video that's different from the usual stuff. And I'm not gonna go too much into detail and rather give a brief overview of the games. Let me know if you like it and subscribe. Ready or Not. I'd heard some things about Ready or Not, how it's this super tactical SWAT game with advanced AI. So I bought it, played it for less than an hour and refunded it. Why did that happen? Well, I started playing a mission and it was going okay and I was clearing the level, and then when most of the enemies were dead, I ended up having to run around the map looking for evidence. And that last enemy who was hiding somewhere. And some civilians, and I walked across the map and found nothing. So I just quit back to menu, assuming that it was either bugged or I was just not finding some weird crevice in the map. I tried another mission and it was just more of the same and kind of like a reverse Payday 2. Because for one, you are the police, and two, you are super fragile and die really quickly. And you have very little direction on what to do. It seems obvious, like go in and stop the bad guys and rescue people, but finding the evidence randomly on the map with no hint of where it could be was just boring, aimless wandering. This is a cool game, it's just not for me. And it's early access, so that might also be getting in the way of the fun here. So I'm gonna avoid more early access stuff for this video. There's also no progression system in the game, and that might have a negative impact on its longevity. But maybe that's just for early access. I'll give the game a fairer chance when it releases. Call of Duty. I made a video about it and said it was good, and it is. Like, the shooting is good, the movement is smooth, but Jesus Christ I get bored of it quickly. It feels like the same thing over and over again, with the only thing really changing is the gun you shoot. As for Warzone and DMC, the only battle royale I can tolerate playing is Apex Legends, because the movement is so good. That makes the running around the map endlessly aspect of battle royales more tolerable. COD is just kinda boring, but fun for an hour every now and then. Apex Legends. Made a video about this too and enjoyed it a lot. It's the only battle royale I actually like playing. Great shooting, great movement, fun heroes that aren't too imbalanced. Colorful maps with some variance in them, and moving around it isn't a chore. And adding a revive mechanic was a huge improvement for the battle royale genre. But I would really like a permanent deathmatch game mode, just because it would be fun. The major drawback of Apex Legends is that if you come into it rusty or even as a new player, you will probably spend a lot of hours getting shit on, because the players have gotten so good at the movement mechanics here, that it's hard and time consuming to catch up, but in my opinion, it's worth it once you do catch up. And I would recommend watching Fade to get an idea of what mastery of the movement looks like and whether or not you would like that ADHD child type of movement. But as for me with Apex right now, I just want something different, something fresh. I'll probably sink a lot of hours into the new season though. Rainbow Six Siege. Where better to find something fresh than with something pretty old? It's kinda the opposite of Apex Legends, but in terms of tactical shooters, it's one of the faster ones. The shooting is great, and since I don't want to repeat that for the next games, just assume the shooting is great unless I say otherwise. You die pretty quickly, but you can take a few bullets and survive, especially if you're one of the more armored operators. But it's more about quick peeks and small bursts of fire because you don't want to expose yourself too long. And that's why you can lean side to side, and I love when games have that. It's slow, but not too slow. Although I will say that the slow rounds start when you drive the little RC cars to find the bomb, or barricade stuff up as the defender is the more boring part of the game, and it gets tiring to do it every single round. But I feel the preparation is a necessary part of the game, and adds the tactics in tactical. I've played this game on and off for years. It's fun every time I play it again. The reason I don't play it that much is because audio is so important. You need to listen for footsteps or any indication of an enemy, and that means in my case having earbuds in both my ears. And closing myself off from the world like that for long periods of time tends to piss off the people around me. And it's not really an option when I have to watch my dogs, because I have to hear it if they're barking so I can make them stop. A thing that can be an issue with this game is the friendly fire when combined with a toxic player, because they can start the round by team killing you, but Ubisoft has fixed it so they get kicked pretty quickly, and if it's an accident it doesn't bother me that much. The game is really fun and the perfect middle ground for the whole tactical and speed. I might end up sticking to this and Apex Legends. It also has a deathmatch mode, and that's a great way for new players to learn and get used to the game. And it's just fun. Are you paying attention, Apex Legends? Deathmatch is fun and good for getting new players. Overwatch. I'd rather get a root canal than play Overwatch. I made a video about it and I don't want to get into it again. It's just a mess. Wait, no, fuck that. They made Overwatch 1 again, but this time they added extremely greedy microtransactions. Eat my dick, Blizzard. Insurgency Sandstorm. This is one of those hardcore shooters where you die from 2 bullets. So getting into the game is a bit of a challenge. And what can really be a challenge at first is differentiating between an enemy and a friend. For friends you have this little blue thing above them, but that isn't always that visible. And I remember when I played it for the first time, I would kill 1 friendly for every 2 enemies I would kill. And also seeing enemies can be a challenge because they can blend pretty easily into the environment, and I mainly see enemies when they move around. So it can be a good game if you're a camper, because vision is based on movement. There's no other game where I really feel it when there's a lot of shit going on. Like when there's a lot of gunfire, explosions and maybe artillery, I feel like I'm being attacked in real life. They did the sounds and effects for explosions and guns so well. There's also a pretty robust co-op mode that you can play to learn the game, and it's pretty challenging, so you could probably just play that for a long time. This is my go-to if I want the hardcore soldier experience. Squad. Squad is not a video game, it is a military simulator, where voice comms and strategy matters a lot. And the problem of not knowing who the enemy is even worse here, and the best way to tell who the enemy is by looking at the map. I have played 2 games of this and I did nothing in both of them, because I had no idea who the enemy is and I didn't want to risk shooting at a friendly. But it was cool at least, and if this game is anything to go by, then World War III is gonna be complicated, because all the uniforms look the same. It's a very cool game, but it's just a lot to get used to and learn, and I don't want to go through that unless someone teaches me. Valorant and CSGO. I'm putting these 2 together because they're pretty much the same game, with the main difference being that Valorant has heroes with abilities or whatever. And there's no footage of CSGO because I'm saving myself for CS2. Both of these games have pretty shitty microtransactions, Valorants are ridiculously overpriced, and CSGO is the video game equivalent to a seedy alleyway. The main problem I have with these games is that the matches are just too long, but actually, Valorant added Swift Play, basically the normal game mode but shorter. Finally, it's what I've been waiting for. CSGO also has casual, I guess, but it's not the same. This is one of the slower games because when you move and shoot, the recoil of the gun goes into fuck. And even when shooting while standing still for longer than a second, the recoil goes into fuck. So it's either about controlling the recoil or giving the gun these little love taps. So move, stop, love tap, and then run away or something, I don't know. I used to be okay at Valorant, but then I took a break for a while, and now I suck donkey wieners. The way you play Valorant is kind of like hiccuping then. Move, stop, move, stop. It's slow, and Rainbow Six Siege is on the slower side, but Rainbow Six Siege is really smooth. But I gotta hand it to Riot Games with Valorant, they do great marketing with the music and the cinematics. They are great at pulling you in. But putting myself through the punishment of getting used to the game again does not seem worth it right now. And I'm not looking for this type of hiccup gameplay right now. And I would rather not have this rootkit that they call an anti-cheat on my computer. Counter-Strike gets a fairer shot when CS2 comes out. Killing Floor 2. If I ever wanna just chill out and shoot some zombies, this is what I play. You and up to 5 others against waves of zombies, and there's this perk system. Like being the medic means healing people, and Berserker is all about melee damage, Commando is using those standard assault rifles, and Demolitionist uses lots of explosions, to name a few of those perks. So teamwork can carry you pretty far, but it's the simple, dumb, zombie shooting fun. But there are special enemies and boss fights that can be pretty challenging. It's mostly shoot and run away, but teamwork or some strategy is kinda needed to survive, especially in the harder difficulties. It's one of the older titles, but it still holds up. Conclusion. Did I find the perfect FPS game? No. There are a lot of video games in the FPS space and a lot of them are mediocre or bad. And trying to find the one you actually like can be pretty time consuming, and there are a lot of games that I didn't talk about. Like Escape from Tarkov, Fortnite, Titanfall, and probably many others. If you'd like another one of these videos where I cover more of these games, then let me know in the comments, and like and subscribe and shit. So what game am I gonna play? Lawbreakers.